Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Britt Madrid Mogensen. In this episode, we are talking about the full moon in Aquarius that is happening today. At the time you are listening to this, we are under the influence of the full moon. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean for us? What are the other things going on at the same time that are going to affect how we experience this full moon? Well, I've got all the answers in this podcast episode. We're also going to talk about something else that's happening that just started today that's coinciding with this full moon in Aquarius, and it is not lost on me. The Democratic National Convention with Kamala Harris at the helm, guys. The astrology around this is wild. And we're also going to pull some cards and spill a little bit of tarot tea about Kamala Harris, our current vice president and potential future first female president ever in history. This is some Age of Aquarius stuff, guys. So let's dive right in. Okay, so first order of business, we got to talk about this full moon. Of course, full moons have a history of, or just like a bad reputation. Let's say that. They have a bad reputation for being times when it's just a little chaotic. The moon is associated with emotions. So I've even heard rumors that the hospitals are more full during a full moon, or, make sure that you stay home on the full moon. Now, just to be safe, I'll probably be going to bed early, but just saying the full moon gets quite the bad rap. Oh, and it wasn't just hospitals, like more people get arrested, crimes, things like that are more, apt to happen. Now, I don't know. I'd need to see some of the evidence, but based on what a full moon is, I could see where it gets this reputation because full moons are about emotions, water. The moon is associated with the water sign Cancer. And what happens with the moon has phases. And when the moon gets to a full moon, our emotions supposedly come to the surface. So this is when the fullness of our emotions, whatever's been underneath the surface, brewing beneath that sea of emotions, really comes into the light. So most of the time we have kind of an idea of what this is going to be, and you can get clues as to where you're going to feel the energy of this full moon based on your personal birth chart. And all you have to do is pull that up and look to see which of the houses in your birth chart is ruled by Aquarius. So for example, I like to use astrocharts.com. If you're new here, it's just like a nice little free service. Type in all your information. You got to put your birth time in there because that's going to determine the houses in your chart. And you need to know the Aquarius house. So once you know that, you will know, okay, cool. This is where I'm experiencing the fullness of this energy. Everything that I've been working on is coming up. And for me, I'll use myself as an example. Aquarius is my first house. So supposedly I'm going to be revealing something, unveiling something. Now, maybe it's this podcast episode, I don't know. But I'm also working on some things that are definitely kicking into high gear starting probably that Monday. So, I can see it. I'm kind of on board with it. Hopefully my fitness goals are going to start paying off too. Like, I don't know, I got some ideas. But we're going to talk about some more specifics about this full moon and why it's actually getting kind of a bad rap online, but I think it's just misunderstood, just like an Aquarius. Okay, so let's go. So this full moon is occurring when the sun is in Leo at 27 degrees, and this is going to be forming an opposition to the moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees. The full moon is a time of culmination. This is a time where wishes have been fulfilled. Really less than wishes. I guess I would say it's more about what you've been working on, what you've been putting out there is finally going to come back to you. So if you've been working really hard on something, especially in that Aquarius house, you're going to see major results. You're going to see, okay, this makes sense to me. It's a moment of finality, a moment of clarity where everything is really in, full view. So, okay, this is also a time of like fertilization. It's very emotional, relationships, things are solidified around a full moon. It's like the fullness of the energy. Like I said, it just comes to light. The Leo sun is a very different energy from Aquarius. Although they are sister signs, they are equal and opposite on that wheel. What's interesting here is that while Leo and Aquarius partner very beautifully together, which I really like that actually for this full moon, it's about balance. So we may find that we need a little bit more balance, or we may see the fullness of where we're not as balanced as we'd like to be. So, depending on the house that this falls in your chart, for me, it's my first house and my seventh house, self versus others, because my first house is ruled by Aquarius, seventh is by Leo. So, it's like self and others. So, look at your chart. Whatever it is for you, you're going to want to look at those two parts of your life and see how you can maybe bring them into greater balance. Or you're going to see that you've actually been doing a really good job of balancing those two areas, and you're going to give yourself a pat on the back. But something's going to come through that helps you to understand a little bit more about the balance between Leo energy and Aquarius energy in your own life, which is just very interesting. It's a nice little helpful tidbit from the universe. Now, when the full moon occurs, we can also have this urge to burst through. We can run through that finish line. We can be like, surprise, here's what, or finally have that conversation. I would say, whatever it is that you do, just know that the full moon is pure emotion. And sometimes we need to just express that emotion. Other times, it may be better to, take a little breather. So, the full moon is a great time to make sure when you wake up, you do some yoga or some cardio, something to just get the blood flowing, stay grounded, write down any intense feelings that come up around a full moon. That's just a good practice in general. And be sure that you are taking the time to process those feelings, process those emotions, especially with Mercury retrograde. I just like to kind of take a little second, take a little minute before fully, letting everything all out there, especially because the full moon can come in hot. Now, sometimes this is helpful because we need to get our message across and it needs to be fully communicated. If that's you, I would say go for it. Just make sure you do it respectfully so that you're not like regretting things that you said. We've all been there, right? Eeh. Okay. And so, anyway, this is a time of awakening and understanding the needs for others as well. So, with Aquarius being that humanitarian element of our skies, this is also a time where we may find that we need to be more giving in a certain area of our lives. There might be a shift that we need to make, and this is going to be unique for everybody. So, if you feel like you become aware at this time of the need to divide your time up differently or to spend more of your energy on one part of your life, this is a great time to have that realization, write it down, and come up with a plan because Mercury retrograde is going to support you in revising anything. And whatever you find at a full moon, this is going to be truth. This is going to be something that has been bubbling beneath the surface. And you finally have this like light bulb moment where you're like, aha. So if anybody's nervous about the full moon, don't be. It's going to build and then illuminate. So nothing too crazy. Just keep it chill, basically do your cardio, get your energy out, and be sure you're not like holding things in. And it should be good, easy breezy. Now, one of the things that astrologers are talking about that is something of concern, which I do have a little solution here, my Virgo sun can't help it. The lunation, so the moon in Aquarius, is square Uranus, which is currently in Taurus. And it's been here for a while, by the way. So this may create some tense moments, some rebellious energy connected to these realizations that we're having in our Aquarius house, or on that Aquarius Leo axis in our birth charts. So, because of that, we may feel like we want to enact some of these changes in our Taurus house. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but just pull up your birth chart and you'll be able to, connect the dots in your own life. But the sun is aligned with retrograde Mercury because the sun is in Leo and so is Mercury. And so this is actually going to be a time where, there may be some surprises, especially in that house ruled by Leo. But this is also a time where, because of the retrograde energy, we may want to rethink some things, especially connected to that Leo ruled house. And because of that, even if it's not talking about it with other people, maybe like for me, it could be like going back over a disagreement that I've had with my seventh house partnerships, my husband. Okay. As an example. There's nothing I can think of that comes to mind right now, by the way. But let's just pretend. Like maybe we've been having an argument about painting the wall a certain color. Okay. And then we talk about it again around this time because Taurus rules my fourth house of home. That would be so funny if this actually happens, you guys. I will totally tell you and just die over it. But let's say we have that conversation then at this full moon. And because I'm an Aquarius rising, I'm like, no, I'm not going to budge. This kind of sounds like me. Watch this happens. No, I'm not going to budge. I am painting the wall that color and we're just going to have to deal with it because this is something that's been bubbling that I've been wanting to do for a long time and I'm asserting my independence. And then we have a disagreement and then we get on the same page. And when we move forward, I feel good because I am doing what I felt was important to me. And he feels good because whatever the problem is that he needed to be heard about, I finally been able to hear him and whatever. It may shock him that I go ahead and do what I want, but ultimately, this full moon is meant to reveal something and help you to create a change and, hopefully also do some good, be a little bit humanitarian because that would be amazing. I also know exactly what this is because I'm going to Dallas September 19th which is like one full month after this full moon, say that 5 times fast, to speak at the Dallas Animal Commission meeting, which is going to be all about, the homeless animals in Dallas and the really sad situation there. I've been talking about it some on the podcast, on the channel. I try to keep it light and fun and breezy for everybody. But in light of this full moon, just so that everybody knows, the shelters, animal shelters all across the country are absolutely full, just busting at the seams. They're euthanizing healthy animals all the time, sweet animals. And I actually found out about this through journalism, needing to do a piece that I wanted to do a piece for charity to do something to give back over around Christmas time this past year, and I ended up settling on helping animals get adopted. I thought that'd be really fun, and it was fun. And I ended up adopting a dog from it because he was the only one that didn't get adopted from the TV episode segment about the dogs. And now we have Archer, and he's amazing. But then, I went back and I adopted Sunny as well. And this has just been something that I've been gradually learning about and growing and seeing a need and wanting to help. And so now I definitely think that that day for me as an Aquarius rising, that is a day where I do plan to reach. This is so weird, actually, now that I think about it, to reach out and put together like a brunch group because I want to be sure that we can the pack the house, pack the courthouse where this is going to be held. So that people who are in charge of making these laws and in charge of, determining these things, I want them to know that there are people who care because they're actually not really used to having a lot of people show up at these meetings. So I mean, that's so weird. I know for a fact on Monday I've planned to, because I'm recording this the week before, but I was planning to send some emails and invite a group of ladies to brunch, and then we can all go together and, pack the room, share our thoughts, and then afterward, have a nice time, talk, and also come up with some more solutions. So this is giving Aquarius full moon energy. Okay. So that's just an example, and that is my own life. And for you, I'm sure there's a story that is coming forth for you. And maybe it takes a second to think about, like, what about the Taurus energy in your birth chart, the Leo energy in your birth chart, and the Aquarius energy in your birth chart, based on the houses where it falls? What about these three houses has been like connecting, disconnecting? Things have been moving forward, then backwards. Like, and what changes can you make, or what action do you feel inspired to make to bring everything together for yourself in a way that feels really authentic? And you may surprise some people along the way because that is what this Uranus square is about. So let's talk more about the Uranus square because I feel like a lot of these, we find out squares, conjunctions, oppositions, we hear about all of these, but it's helpful to know what they mean for yourself so that when you listen to astrologers give reports, you can also interpret it in light of your own understanding, which I highly suggest we always do in astrology. I never want anyone to think doom and gloom because even a square or even an opposition can bring forth really amazing, beautiful results that we wouldn't have experienced otherwise. So I don't want anyone to ever dread a certain transit. And so let's dig a little bit deeper, astrology investigation time, into what this square means that is happening on this day of the full moon. Okay, so the moon in Aquarius is square Uranus and Taurus, and Uranus transits to the moon directly affect the feelings, public image, personal popularity. This is interesting. Other people and things affected by Uranus are the mother, important women in the native's life, domestic life, and home. And the reason that all of those are affected is because the moon in astrology, and this isn't just in our individual birth charts, this is in astrology at large. The moon always has a connection with mother figures, important female figures in your life. It's associated with femininity, the feminine energy, the womb, all those things, and the domestic life and the home. So now look at where in your birth chart you have Cancer. For me, it is my sixth house of day-to-day activity, and I do work from home. Oh Lord, please don't let anything crazy happen. Um, but hopefully it's going to be solution focused. Okay, so here we go. Let's continue on. So that is what is, going to be affected by this Uranus transit to the moon. What does the moon rule in your chart? Also, like, What is your moon sign? Where does your moon sign fall in your birth chart? For me, it's my 10th house of public image. And I am organizing this event, Aquarius. For me, I know that's what this is. This is wild to me that this is coinciding. Wait till we get to Kamala Harris. You guys are just going to gag. Okay, in the best way possible. So look to the planets also in Cancer in your chart and see what other parts of your personality that Uranus is now infusing with the urge to break out of existing routines. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm totally shaking it up with my Taurus fourth house of home. I am redoing the set, and I think maybe I'll have like a big reveal by the time this comes out. This is exciting. Okay, Uranus transit square the moon. Now, this is what's going on. The urge to express yourself is going to take hold at this full moon. And since expressing yourself generally means doing something that maybe you haven't done before, because if it's a self expression, it's like because Uranus is surprise, so it's maybe in a way that you've never expressed yourself before, and that can be different for everybody. Maybe it's making a social media post that you've never done before. Maybe it's revealing a photo shoot that you've never showed before, or something about your personality or your work, or there's like something surprising that you're doing that people are like, "Oh, wow, I didn't expect that." Okay, unexpected. So you may be, but there's likely to be a moment where some people might look at you like strangely, or they might be confused because it's Uranus and it's Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is known as like the alien. So people might be like, wait, what are you doing? And they may need a second to catch up to this new part of you that is being expressed at this full moon. But whatever ideas you have been suppressing up until now, they are going to come out. Like I said, just be sure that you orchestrate them so that they come out in the way that you would like, especially with Mercury retrograde. We don't want to regret anything that we're doing at this full moon. You can also see your complexes, anything that's going on like the subconscious, where you self-sabotage. That's why I'm like, just let's all just be chill at this time so that we can use this full moon. But this is a good time to, look at those things. We also want to use self-control and direct our energies so that this is useful. Uranus does give us like this lightning bolt of energy. And so we want to use this inspiration to do something different, and we want to apply it to ideally the Taurus part of our lives, but this could also connect to the part of your life where you have the moon. It could connect to that house. It could connect to where Aquarius is. Anything that I'm mentioning that has to do with these planetary bodies or these houses in your chart at the time of the full moon, this is a great time to use any sort of innovative solution that you've been kind of toying with, something you've been kind of, rolling over in your mind. This is a great time to actually take action. Now, during this time period, you could feel a little bit overwhelmed that things aren't happening right now. Taurus is slow and steady. And with Uranus square Taurus, this is more the time to make the plan and take the first step. Even though this is a full moon in Aquarius, so there's a part of our lives that is coming to culmination. We're having a realization of some sort, but then through that realization, we are inspired to change something. And like I said, it's probably going to happen in your Taurus house, but it could happen, connected to any of those bodies or houses I talked about. I just want to reiterate because I don't want anybody to get like confused, because I know this is so much. I'm talking kind of fast because I want to get to the Kamala Harris thing. And I know you guys are busy. I don't want to keep you here for like 5 hours. But we just have to be careful that we're realistic at the same time, because Uranus is really more here to put us on the path, to help us. This is coming on the heels of the full moon. So we're going to use up a lot of energy with that full moon realization, that full moon, like something can come through for you that you've been waiting for, which would be a great manifestation. You may even be surprised by what comes through. Maybe you get a promotion. Maybe because of that promotion, you decide you have to move to another place. Like that could be the square. But ultimately, I do have a very good feeling about this full moon. And I just think it's going to be really exciting for all of us. It's going to shake things up. If you get a little bit bored, don't worry. The astrology is going to come to shake up your life and help you keep evolving. So as long as we embrace it, we'll be just fine. And we may even enjoy this. The only thing to look out for is, like I said, that impatience. You don't want to have a sudden outburst. Even if you decide that you want to break free from something, don't make a rash decision. This could be the time where the realization sparks the first step. Don't expect, to wind up at the end from the beginning. Like you have to take the steps, get some inspiration from Saturn and go step by step, because those are the things that last. But Uranus is here to inspire us. So we just don't want to like misinterpret Uranus's, excitement and an urge for change. Now, some astrologers say that when things happen like this and Uranus is involved, there can be something shocking that happens that comes out of left field that we didn't expect. And I'm going to say that is, possible and rare because think about all the people in the world. Like if there was something shocking that happened at every single time Uranus made a transit, then we would all eventually get on the same page and be like, wow, this is crazy. Like something shocking actually happens. So logically, we have to know that that is not always the case. I think it's very rare that you're going to experience something shocking in your life. We would have figured that out by now. What I think it is, though, for like a small percentage of people, yes, something surprising will happen. Something they didn't expect will happen. I think that we actually become the energy of Uranus. And that's what I'm seeing, especially for this full moon, is that we may be the ones doing something surprising. We may be the ones making a change. And based on the astrology that we've been having lately, and with the retrogrades and all of that, I think that it's a change that is going to be for the better. It's something that we've been realizing, we've been researching, we've been, thinking about for quite some time. And now finally, we're given the green light to make the first step, to make it known, to tell other people about it, and to finally come out of the shadows and into the fullness of what it is we've been wanting to change. So I'm actually very excited about this. I think it's so positive. Like I said, just don't go overboard with Uranus there. So that is my prediction, my advice, my tips for this upcoming full moon in Aquarius. Let me know what happened for you guys. Let's all check back in later on this week and see what happened. Maybe I'll just do a random live stream during the afternoon, but I would like us to stay in touch about this and compare our notes. So now let's talk about our next order of business. Very exciting. The Democratic National Convention is happening this week from August 19th through Thursday, August 22nd. Now, the fact that the DNC is starting on August 19th, this to me is absolutely wild. If you guys have been here for a little bit, you know that every time I've talked about the age of Aquarius, I have talked about female leadership and how that has always come to the forefront historically during the age of Aquarius. If you guys want to look into that, I recommend Jessica Adams, an astrologer who has done extensive research on this. Just give it a little Google. Jessica Adams, Age of Aquarius, females in power, something like that. It will all come up. Okay. And it's amazing. And that's why I want to cite her as a source. Check that out. But that's the day that we have the DNC starting. And so I also think that this has to do with, on a collective level, this full moon is about surprising people with something that we haven't done before. Now, it's been percolating under the surface, but we've never had, a female president. And obviously, it's not going to happen right now. Takes time. Uranus takes time. But it's the first step. Yeah, that is my prediction for the election. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. All right. We try not to be political on this channel. And I just want to say before I go into it, I love everybody. Everybody's always welcome here, with open arms. This is about us collectively having fun, spilling tea. But this is something that I believe is real. And maybe this is my Aquarius rising talking at this full moon. But I think it's important to talk about and expose. And if you don't agree, that's okay. You may want to pop off at this time and you can come back for another tea time, but let's keep it going. We all have our reasons for believing things that we do. Okay, here we go. So, the age of Aquarius has traditionally been associated with several transformative and progressive themes. And one of those is empowerment and the rise of females in leadership and to influential roles. Here's how the association has been viewed traditionally. This is so crazy to me. Okay, Aquarius is a symbol of equality and humanitarianism. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet of revolution, innovation, and change. So that's the other thing that I forgot to mention when talking about this full moon. Yes, Uranus is making a square to Taurus, and a lot of people are nervous about that. But I do think it's coming from within us because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And so, like, that's actually very compatible. So it's like, I feel like we have a lot of strength to be the ones to enact change. Okay, keeping it moving. So, um, so it's also an air sign, which is associated with ideas. All of the air signs are associated with ideas, freedom. Think about the air. The air is free. The air can flow wherever it wants. But also, Aquarius specifically is associated with equality, freedom, community. These themes naturally lend themselves to the breaking down of the traditional gender roles and the promotion of social equality, including the empowerment of women who historically have not been empowered to lead. We've made a lot of progress, of course, and we've taken a few steps back, as of late when it comes to reproductive rights and things like that. But on the positive side, this could be an amazing breakthrough time where we could have our first female president in history. And that is a huge landmark moment. And I do think that that's going to happen during this age of Aquarius that we're currently in. Okay, there's also a shift from patriarchy to equality that the age of Aquarius is a symbol of. This Aquarius full moon, on a larger scale, we talked about how it's going to affect us in our personal lives, but on a grand scale, on a global scale, it would be very aligned astrologically for us to finally have a female leader of this country come to the forefront at the time of this Aquarius full moon. We're going to finally see her in her fullness. We're going to see her rise to the top, rise to really take on this role. So interesting, but it's the first step, just like I was saying about on like a micro level. This is the first step, and it's starting August 19th, like in all reality, in all actuality. I mean, this is so crazy, and I love it. Okay, so the age of Aquarius represents a shift away from old hierarchical patriarchal systems, often associated with the age of Pisces, by the way, towards more egalitarian and collective approaches. This shift includes the recognition and elevation of women's roles in society, politics, and other areas of influences. The feminine archetype in astrology is associated with forward thinking ideas that transcend traditional gender norms. This can be seen as fostering environments where women can rise to power, challenge the status quo, and lead movements for change and equality. The women's rights movements. The rise of the age of Aquarius has been symbolically linked with the historical emergence of women's rights movements in the 20th and 21st centuries, by the way. As societal structures evolve to reflect more Aquarian values, women have taken on leadership roles influencing global change. And last but not least, the role of technology and media when it comes to Aquarius energy. We all know that Aquarius is associated with technology, communication, and the spread of ideas, specifically ideas on a grand scale affecting, a large swath of humanity, the humanitarian sign. The digital age has amplified women's voices and facilitated their rise to power, allowing for greater visibility and influence on a global scale. Technology 1000% has helped women's voices to be put out there, things like YouTube, Instagram, Threads, all of these services have allowed the average person, female or male, equal, it's created this equal playing field where you don't have to have a TV show, you don't have to be the only person that, did the audition and got into the role. That's Leo. One person, one ruler, one king, one special, whatever. This is the recognition that like everybody's special. Everybody has something to say. I am obsessed. Okay. Let's keep moving by looking at Kamala's birth chart. Kamala Harris's birth chart. So this is one of the best moments of my birth chart reading career because we have her birth time. Thank goodness. At this pivotal moment in history, we needed Kamala's birth time, and we have it. So this is exciting. So Kamala Harris was born in Oakland, California, October 20th, 1964 at 9:28 p.m. So let's start with her actual date of birth, October 20th. This makes her a Libra. Guys, if I've said it before, I'll say it again. Every single person who is extremely prominent when it comes to law, government, like everyone that I've seen has some sort of prominent Libra placement. Oh my gosh. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Libra. My husband, Michael, who's the best lawyer you'll ever meet, Libra. Kamala Harris, former senator, Libra. Future first female president of the United States, allegedly, Libra. Okay, so let's talk about it. Her sun is in Libra at 27 degrees. Okay, remember how I said that 27 degrees was where this full moon was happening? So the DNC is starting on the day of the Aquarius full moon. Okay, and having oh my god, and having her sun in an air sign at 27 degrees makes this extremely favorable for her. This full moon is blessing her life. It is doing what it needs to do. It is putting her sun sign energy in a positive light. So I think this is going to do really well for her. I was going to pull some cards, but you know what? I'm going to hold off on pulling tarot cards because this astrology says it all. Like, we don't even need to pull the cards on this one. Like, the astrology is telling us. Okay, the moon in Aries She's a warrior energy. She is able to move forward. She is strong. Moon and Aries people are very much the type that is going to look at a situation, figure out what needs to be done, and no matter how difficult it may be, they will tap into their warrior spirit and they will make sure that it happens. And with that Libra sun balancing out her Aries moon, because Libra and Aries are sister signs right across from each other on that zodiac wheel, it's very positive. Very positive. Talk about balance. There's a balance with this placement between self and others, Libra, sun, and Aries moon. So her feelings that she has, her desire to be a warrior, but also the need to, be that mediator, Libra sun. So it's a really good combination of a warrior spirit, warrior, the energy and the feelings that a warrior has, that bravery, that strength, that motivation and drive, and that sun sign energy of Libra of being the mediator, of being able to look at multiple people's perspectives. It's the scales, weigh everything out before you actually make a decision. So I really love that her impulses that we see with her moon sign and her warrior spirit are channeled through the balanced Libra sun, because this is someone that you can trust not to go and do something totally wild and crazy, someone that's going to be able to look at your point of view and their point of view. And that's what we need, right? When it comes to ruling a country that is a free country, a democracy that we luckily are blessed to find ourselves in, we want the person who is in charge to make sure that they're not just looking out for their best interests and the best interests of their friends, their rich friends, but we want them to also look out for us, we the people, the Aquarius collective, the humans, okay, that make up the humanitarian vibes. All right, Mercury and Scorpio. I like that, detail oriented. Mercury and Scorpio is able to see what's going on beneath the surface. Very sharp, very sharp. If we look at a Scorpio's, stinger, I mean, it's sharp, right? And so these are the investigators, these are the detectives, these are the people who are going to look beneath the surface. They do not keep things at the, just kind of float by on the surface, let it go, not look at the details. No, they're the ones doing the research. They're the ones triple checking before they make a decision. And I really do like this because we are in a time historically where we do need facts, we do need attention to detail. We need people who are going to be real and honest and put a microscope up to, the types of decisions being made. And I think she's going to do that. I really like that with her Mercury and Scorpio. Also, you can't really get away with anything with people with Mercury and Scorpio. They can sense when other people are lying, and they may be polite about it, but they're going to tell you exactly what they think. And, also very loyal, very honest. It's like what you see is what you get. I mean, that's a Mercury and Scorpio. They really cannot flower things up when it comes to the way they think and communicate. It is really just coming from their core being. Scorpio is known for just being honest to a fault sometimes, even when you don't want to hear the truth. It's like they're going to tell you. So, anybody who wants to debate her or whatever, I mean, you can trust that she is going to tell you exactly what she thinks. And they can be a little bit cutting at times, but it's so cutting usually because it is the truth, and the truth can hurt. Am I right? Venus in Virgo, love it. So Virgo, so she has her, oh my God, she has Venus in her sign right now. She's having her Venus return. So she's going to be looking really good at this DNC. What is she going to wear? I can't wait. I bet she's going to wear something very tailored. She's going to be giving off Virgo energy. Virgo is also associated with the goddess. So this is even more of that feminine energy of strength. I love that. Also, Virgos are about purity and health and wellness and things that are good. Virgos are associated with healing others. And so things have to be good. And when I say good, I mean like the purity of goodness, like a pure heart. And having your Venus in Virgo, there's an appreciation of a pure heart. There's an appreciation of others who are genuine and the desire to make the world a better place and to help other people. Virgos love to help others. They love to see other people shine, and they don't mind sacrificing to make that happen, which is why they can sometimes get taken advantage of. But with her Venus there, I do feel like she is protected with her Mercury and Scorpio and Moon in Aries, because even though she may have this desire to give and give and give, she has the sharpness of mind, Mercury and Scorpio, and the heart of a warrior, Moon in Aries, to not let people take advantage of her. So it's really beautiful, actually. We have this soft, healing heart. Oh my God, guys, this made me think of Remember when Drew Barrymore said, "We need a Mamala"? I'm sorry. No comment, like, that I mean, it's sweet, she's a Pisces, she's sweet, and I don't mean to make fun of her, but when she said that, I almost passed out. I was like, "A Mamala." It's just funny, I don't know. Oh, Drew. Oh, Drew, God love ya. I did go to see her show, and we did pay for that show, and we've supported the Drew Barrymore show. We love you, Drew. Not making fun of her, just Kamala Mamala was, hilarious. I will never get over it. Okay. She has her Mars and Leo, so she does amazing in the spotlight. I think that she's gonna be shining very favorably. We do have Leo, we have retrograde Mercury and the sun in Leo. So I do think that this speaks to the revision of things. I think she's going to have to look backwards before we can look forwards, especially on the first day of the DNC. She's going to address what's going on with, President Biden. I think she's going to give him his flowers. And that's like the retrograde energy and then move forward. People with Mars and Leo, they do very well in the spotlight. They don't shy away from it. And they're people that you can trust to make themselves look good, to present themselves appropriately. And they also can use the spotlight to bring about what it is they want to accomplish. So this bodes very well for her, especially coming up. What else do we have here? Jupiter in Taurus. So Jupiter is expanded in Taurus. We may be surprised by something that she does or something that she says, but we also have Saturn in Aquarius. So she's going to be working hard. She's going to be serious. I do think we're going to see, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what exactly she says. I'll be watching because with Saturn in Aquarius, and we have this Jupiter Taurus, it's like there's this square happening. Like, this is interesting for her. This is really interesting. I do think we're gonna see a different side of her somehow, not sure what that side is gonna look like, but I think we're gonna have more clarity about who she is, what she stands for, and that's really the point of oops, and that's really the point of these, conventions, right? To, like, get it all out there. She has Gemini rising. Jupiter is currently in Gemini. So she has Jupiter on her ascendant, expanding her sense of self, her presence, and her ability to be in the spotlight, to be creative. It's also very lucky, attracting luck, being, having your ascendant with Jupiter on it. I mean, that's like you rising to power, you being in the spotlight, you being the one that is expanding yourself. So this is gaining more power basically. And I see this being very, very positive for her. And this is for a full year. She's going to have this. It is no coincidence that she's running for president during the same year that she has Jupiter on her ascendant, in my opinion. But okay, you guys, so that is just a quick overview. We're going to see what happens. I'll be on the edge of my seat eating my popcorn, but we'll check in with each other to see how we all fared during this full moon. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by my birthday, September 9th, and it would just mean the world to me if you helped me. And please share the podcast. But if you're listening to this on Spotify, we also do live streams to have a lot of fun over on the Brit Madrid YouTube channel. And speaking of the YouTube channel, my last plug, if you guys haven't joined the membership, it is super affordable. I think it's after tax and everything, like $3 per month. And you get multiple extra videos a month, tarot tea times, pick a cards, and we get to chit chat a little bit more intimately in a smaller group. So that's all I got for you today. I love you guys, sending you a lot of love and light and positivity. Hopefully, we all just lean into that humanitarian vibe that this full moon is bringing, and we do something good for ourselves and for the world around us because we need a little more goodness, don't we? All right. Love y'all.